Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new webinar. We are here today with attorney Ruby Powers from Powers Law Group, and today we're going to talk about the alternatives to H-1B visas. So Ruby, she's a board-certified immigration and nationality attorney, and she has been licensed since 2008 and founded the firm in November of 2009. So Ruby, the word is yours.
Thank you, Maria. So we're doing this a little bit early, but the H-1B registration is ending as on March 22nd. I believe it's 12 o'clock Eastern. And so then the results will come out they say around the 31st, but that's Easter Sunday. So somewhere around there. So the recording is coming out about the time when you've probably put in your H-1B registration and you're waiting to results. Hopefully you make it, but if you don't, these are some things to consider. So, if you've graduated and you're applying for OPT for that, year, or if you get the extension because of the STEM, if you're in the STEM field, then that will buy you some more time and give you an opportunity for another bite of the apple with the H-1B registration. I think a lot of people know this, especially if they did an education program here in the United States, but this is something to consider, or you could also go back to school as an F1 and do another level of education. Now, if you're Canadian or Mexican, you could consider a TN visa. Big things to note is if you're Canadian, you can apply at a port of entry. If Mexican, you have to apply at the embassy or consulate. And generally, but you also need to be of one, you have to have a certain education requirement, and you have to be of one of the professions that are allowed. And but for the most part, a lot of people are. And there's also the management consultant as a possibility as well. So this is a non-immigrant visa, but it is a great opportunity, but it's only for those nationalities. Now, the other option could be, but of course, I think if you are, depending on how much education you have and how much experience, a national interest waiver is something a lot of people are excited about. It's an opportunity where you don't need a job offer, you don't need the perm process, you waive the labor certification for apply for a national interest waiver. You do have to show several prongs, important things to note, that you have exceptional abilities where the employment would be greatly benefit the nation. There is a lot of room to explore that. And so you could have the advanced degree or exceptional skills, and also three of the criteria of the national interest waiver. So this is a really great opportunity. There's a little bit of a backlog because there's been so much demand, but you can apply premium processing if you want to. Great opportunity, definitely could evaluate. There's something called an entrepreneurial parole. This came about at the very final days of Obama, but then put on hold during Trump. And then it's quietly around under Biden. It can take about a year or so to get approved, but it can give you an opportunity if you have a startup. This is sort of a new area, but this is something to consider if that is something you are looking to do, and give you opportunity to be here and work here in the country. If you're Australian, there's always the E3, which is a really great opportunity. It's a little bit like a TN in a way, but it doesn't have one of the list of professions requirement. But you do need to have a job offer, and you can come here for a short period of time and can continue to extend it. There's the L1A and L1B. Now, the reason why this might not be as easily available, because if you probably would have done L maybe before you did the H, but you needed to work 1 year in the last 3 years for the foreign company, and then be transferred over here to the United States. So you need to make sure that you could prove that. And then there's two levels. There's the L1A, the executive or managerial capacity, and the L1B, the specialized knowledge. And L1A can go the max of 7 years with extensions along the way, and L1B a total of 5. But it is great because spouses can work and you can bring children. So this is a great opportunity. There's lots of pathways to green card with this one. Blanket L, pretty much if you work for a large company that that is eligible for those, similar to what we spoke about. O1 is something else to consider. It's something with extraordinary ability, and this is something, it is very niche, but it's something to consider. It could be with the in the science, education, business, or athletics, or in the arts, music, theater, film, and television, and performing arts. And then this can give you 3 years and can be extended. You can also bring other people with you, depending on what their role is and what you do. And this is could be a great opportunity as an O1. And so you need to meet certain criteria and have a lot of support to back up what you're going to do and what you've done. Now, here's another one. Now, this is limited to people who are nationals of countries that have treaties with the United States. So, for example, Pakistan does, but India doesn't. Mexico does, but Venezuela doesn't. There are certain countries that we have a lot of citizens from, but they don't have the treaty. So, a lot of Europe has the treaty. So these are some things to consider. You could buy a business, you could start a business, you could be an employee. But there's the E1 and E2. Spouses can work, and it actually can be extended indefinitely as long as you can meet the qualifications. So it's a really good opportunity. This could be something you could do temporarily or for I don't know, long term. And there could be ways to later lead to a green card if that's what you intend, but this is a non-immigrant visa. J1 visas, those can be for specific purposes, cultural education exchange, au pair, but there's some research opportunities, and as research scholars or professors, is something that exists. A lot of times they have restrictions about having to go back home for a couple of years, but not always. And so it's out there. And so these are a little bit more details about how you could use it. But you definitely want to plan in advance, because most of these programs you have to get accepted or approved and those types of things. There's also the religious worker. Of course, you need to meet the requirements for that. And then there's some other considerations. You also could get sponsored for a perm process from your company. But at the same time, if you don't have a status to stay in the US, then you would have to leave. There's also a B1 in lieu of H-1B and H-2A and H-2B, but that generally we're not in the same category if you were looking at H-1Bs. There's P, a visa for entertainers, and Q1. That's pretty specific, mostly for going to work at Disney, International Culture Exchange Program. But there are some other things out there. Okay, well, we hope you got chosen and works out, but it is healthy to evaluate other options and to know what you're eligible for. So you can reach us at all these different ways. And we have several, and we speak Spanish, English, Russian, Ukrainian, and we have translators in Turkish and French. And so to be a resource for you, share this with someone else if that can be helpful. You can reach out to us at 713-589-2085, our website, all our social media. We like to keep people updated on what's going on, and our newsletter in English and Spanish every other week gives a lot of information. So this is our alternatives to H-1B visas, and thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.